You're watching the Hong Kong Racing Show. Andrew Brown and Alex Evers with you for what's going to be another massive show. Our special guest on this show is jockey Brenton Avdulla, who is absolutely flying of late. So really looking forward to catching up with Brenton about his hot form and also his ride in next week's Hong Kong Derby RUBYLOT. Brenton will be joining us very shortly. We'll also give you some picks for the racing at Sha Tin this weekend. Take note, Friday night is the card this weekend, not the regular Saturday night. So Friday night into early hours of Saturday morning, North American time. And Alex, as I welcome you in, let's get stuck into all the latest news. And you've got some news for us on your old pal Golden 60.
Yeah, we're seeing pictures come out of Hokkaido there in Northern Farm, and he looks awesome, and he looks happy, and he looks fat. He looks like the champ has been snacking on a box of donuts on his quarantine adventure, and rightfully so. He deserves every bit of love, and you keep seeing videos of him getting cookies and carrots, and he just looks like the happiest guy. So we love to see it because he was such an absolute beast on the race course, and now he gets to live a wonderful, comfortable life in Japan. It sounds nice, doesn't it? I can think of worse ways to retire, Brownie.
Who can blame him? Like just eating a little bit more, resting some more. That's where I want to be. Retired in Japan.
Right?
How good.
Oof, sounds good. That's a future goal for me. Nothing but a bunch of sushi and ramen and Sapporos. Oof, ready to go.
Yeah, he looks absolutely sensational there, enjoying it in the snow. Now, before we move on, credit where credit's due. Your pick in the Kowloon City Handicap last week, and lucky with you, got the job done under Luke Ferraris. Well done.
It feels good after getting spanked around for the last couple of months. It feels good to get a nice one with a 7-1 spot too.
No,
Happy about that. Not bad for me. I was pretty pumped up. I think I sent you an email because I didn't want to wake you up.
I saw that. Normally it's a text that I get 1 o'clock in the morning, but I woke up to an email. Good for you. Yeah, nice price though. 7-1, $8 something it paid. So good stuff there. I thought another highlight from the racing at Sha Tin last weekend that's worth mentioning was Bundle Award too. Alex winning the Class 2 Carpenter Handicap, beautifully ridden by Benny Thompson, a last to first win, which has effectively catapulted him into Hong Kong Derby contention next week. A chance, do you think, on the back of that performance, Alex?
Yeah, why not? And size is going super well. And it's really awesome
Mm.
to see Ben Thompson, who's grinded and struggled so hard for these young riders to get in and get good horses. But he's having success now and looks like he's going to land himself a legitimate contender in the Hong Kong Derby. So size always has something up his sleeve too for the Derby. He's one of the greats out there, and he's on top of the table right now. So that'll be something else fun to follow as the season goes on.
Yeah, he's absolutely flying after what was a relatively slow start, even by his standards. He's just, catapulted to the top of the trainer standings, John Size. And as you mentioned, great to see Benny Thompson getting a ride in the Hong Kong Derby. Someone who won't be riding in the Hong Kong Derby, though, unfortunately, is Zach Purton. I think he was hoping to be back from injury by then, but looks like he's going to need a little bit more time to recover with an asterisk, Alex.
With the Astros, yeah, he's gonna hold off on this Derby unless somebody shows up. Unless a ride magically comes available, he's gonna gut through the pain. But he's on target for Kai Rising's return in the Champions Sprint there on the last week of April. So hopefully we see Zach back in the irons soon enough. But until then, a lot of opportunity for other guys on the table.
One of those jockeys making the most of his opportunities is Brenton Avdulla, who we're excited to welcome to the show for the first time. Brenton, thanks for joining us.
No worries. Nice to be on, boys. It's nice to speak to you for sure.
Yeah, great to have you on. You've been in absolutely superb form of late. Congratulations. 31 wins for the season, sitting outright third on the jockey standings now. What do you put the recent run of success down to?
I'd just say opportunities, I suppose. Last season was obviously my first full season, and I rode, I think, 33 winners for the season. And this year I've just been able to build on it. So, I was going okay there for probably up until a couple of months ago. And I was happy with the way things were going, but obviously with that unfortunate circumstance of the fall, with a few riders indisposed, it just opened up the roster a little bit, and I've been one who's been able to benefit from it, just getting some opportunities for the right stables and been able to capitalise. So it's been really good, and hopefully it can continue on.
Yeah, that's awesome. So you've almost ridden as many winners this season with a good chunk of the season left to go than what you did last season. So you're absolutely flying. I wanted to bring up a ride of yours from the other night at Happy Valley when you won aboard Beauty Infinity during the week. That was your fifth win in your past 17 rides. We're just going to show the replay. If you could talk us through it from the turn. It didn't look like you wanted to let Huey out on the other favourite, Chateau Neuf. Was that the case, or were you just riding your race?
It was the case. Yeah, I felt Huey's mount and mine were probably the two favoured runners in the race, and my mount can sort of want to lay out a little bit around the circle, but Huey was entitled to sort of come out and try and force his way through, but I was entitled to hold my spot, and I was lucky enough that my horse had enough there, and it was able to hold him there and go on and win the race. So he's a horse who's been busting the win in Class 3, and he's a horse who's been racing well, and John's team's firing as well. So it was nice to get another win with him for sure.
Yeah, John is absolutely firing. Alex and I were just talking about that before you joined us. He's just shot to the top of the trainer standings, hasn't he, Alex?
Yeah, absolutely. And then now you're looking second season. You're on the favorite for the Hong Kong Derby and RUBYLOT. What was that run like in the Classic Cup where he was able to kind of bounce back from the mile?
Yeah, he was really good. I wasn't disappointed with him in the mile. I thought the barrier just hurt his chances. I thought if he drew low in the mile, he would have gone very close to winning. But yeah, completely different race, the 1800, the Classic Cup. It was run at a much faster speed. He was able to, even though he drew a fraction awkward, he was able to get into a good spot. He was able to get a nice running transit, smooth. And then when I presented him there at the 250, he really quickened well for me and put a quality field away. So he was awesome. By all reports, he's pulled up well, been training well, and looking forward to getting on him for the Derby.
Absolutely. So we've got a group text of me and a couple Australian photographers, and anytime somebody celebrates in a race, no matter where in the world it is, we kind of post the pictures, and it's always compared to your celebration on La Sweaty Spirit and the Oaks there. And that is considered amongst our buddies the one of the greatest celebrations in the history of racing when you took a bow at 100 to 1. We just love how you enjoy winning races, and you celebrate it and have a good time out there.
Yeah, I don't think we'll see the bow again. I think I've retired that one, to be honest. I'm not saying it never will happen again, but yeah, I'll try not to. But yeah, look, at the end of the day, we're in an entertainment business. And I'm very passionate with what I do and very passionate for sport in general. But yeah, that's what you see on race day. They're not preconceived, celebrations or anything like that. Every now and then you might get someone say, well, why don't you do this? Why don't you do that next time? But I never think like that. What you see on race day, that's emotion. I didn't go out there thinking that RUBYLOT was going to come from that position and steam down the outside and I was going to, point to the crowd or anything like that. Like, that's just what you see, raw emotion. And I suppose, then that's what I'm there for. We're probably one of those most sports in life where 90% of the time you're unsuccessful. So there's a lot more lows than highs. But when you can enjoy those highs, especially at the elite level, that's what we do it for sure.
That's awesome. You reeled in My Wish late in the Classic Cup. Brenton, would you consider him to be your biggest danger? He, of course, won the Classic Mile 2 back when RUBYLOT was 6, or is there just not a lot between quite a few runners, including the likes of Johannes Brahms, heading into the Derby next weekend?
Yeah, I think out of the Classic Cup the other day, the two you'd probably have to say would be My Wish, only because he's been so consistent. He can, he's very tractable. You can put him anywhere, and he's been racing well. And Johannes Brahms was probably a little bit unlucky not to go close. So he looks like he's peaking at the right time. So I'd say they're probably two of the ones probably out of that race that I'd be probably most interested with. But a couple of these new horses that are a bit fresh on the scene, Bundle Award and the likes, these horses out of left field form, I suppose, in a way, away from that Classic Cup. Interested to see how they'll go. Look, I wouldn't swap my ride for anything else, but I just hope on the day he can draw well and get a smooth run. And if he does that, I've got no doubt he'll be right in the finish.
Now, being from Australia, it's the Melbourne Cup, the Cox Plate, the Golden Slipper, perhaps the Everest, the races that a jockey wants to win. Now that you're in Hong Kong, I mean, you've ruled out doing a bow, but what would it mean to win a Hong Kong Derby, or Derby, I should say?
Yeah, it'd be pretty special. this is the Hong Kong Derby. That's the race that everyone in Hong Kong wants to win. So, for a Melbourne boy, it'd pretty much be like winning the Melbourne Cup, I suppose here. So, yeah, Hong Kong is now home. Like I said, my second season here now. Look, we haven't got any plans to go home anytime soon. So our immediate focus is Hong Kong, and I want to be successful here and I want to be successful in the big races. So if the Hong Kong Derby is definitely the number one race that I want to win here in Hong Kong, and I've been successful enough, over the past season and a half where I've been able to win on California Spangle in a Group One. So sorry, if we can win, a Hong Kong Derby, would be very special for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. And you mentioned California Spangle. You're on his back during the week on a trial. I think he's shaping up for another clash with Kaying Rising in the Group Two Sprint Cup. What's been going on with the Spangle this year?
Yeah, he's obviously been a very good horse to me. I feel, yeah, he came back from Dubai. He ran well, and then so obviously the end of the season he's come back. I thought he was good first up, and then we had a couple below par efforts there where he was disappointing. I felt like he just hasn't been right. Happy enough with his trial the other day. He's probably going to run in the Group 2 1200 there in a couple of weeks, but I'd say he's probably still not 100% at his best, and he's going to be taking on Kane Rising, so it's going to be a big ask for him. But yeah, he's definitely one of my faves, and hopefully we can see him run well again.
What was that like winning in Dubai on him? You just kind of been in Hong Kong for such a short period of time, and you pick up a nice horse like that and get tasked with riding in an international Grade One in Dubai, which you hadn't ridden at before. Just kind of talk through that day and that experience.
Yeah, very special, Alex. Especially for an Australian rider too. Like, as good as the racing is in Australia, like we don't seem to travel, anywhere that way either. So, we're not in a position where you get to Dubai World Cup or anything like that. So to be based in Hong Kong and ride a Hong Kong galloper, and especially California Spangle, who's got such a following, to then get over there and win an Al Quoz Group 1 on the world stage on World Cup night. That's what we do it for. Never did I think in my wildest dreams I'd be turning up riding one of Hong Kong's favourites in a Group 1 on World Cup night. So they're things that, things you dream of. And yeah, it was an amazing night. And like I said, he's always going to be one of my favourites for sure after that.
Where would that rank, Brenton, in your career so far that night?
It'd probably go to the top. Yeah, I think winning the Group One on him. Like, look, I've obviously won a couple of slippers and had some good success in Australia, but I think to win the Group One in Hong Kong was very special, and then to top it with the Al Quoz on him on the world stage. Yeah, that was amazing. So if we happen to win a Hong Kong Derby, well, it'd go right up there too.
Yeah. Given your success in Dubai last year on the Al Quoz and your relationship with John Sires, was there a small part of you that thought you might be able to get the ride on How Deep Is Your Love, who of course is going over the Al Quoz for John Sires this year?
Not really. The connections, and they've always sort of had James sort of booked for him. Every time James has been available, he's been sort of the go-to man for him. I have one on How Deep You Love and had a bit of luck with him, but yeah, never really had the vibe that I was any chance to ride him. But I did tell him we had an owners dinner there not too long ago, and I did say to him that if they want to know how to win the Outlaws, they've only got to ask me. So we'll. We'll see how he goes, but I've got no doubt the horse is in good form. He deserves his spot there, and I can see him racing well for sure.
Yeah, that's awesome. So a really good book of rides this weekend at Sha Tin 2, Brenton. Just noting that it's Friday night North American time this week as well, not the regular Saturday night, Saturday afternoon in Sha Tin. I'm keen to get your thoughts on one ride in particular, Sky Jewelry in the nightcap, who you take over from Hugh Bowman. I know you've had a little bit to do with the horse in the mornings, but you haven't ridden him on race day. What are you expecting?
Yeah, he's a really talented galloper. I did a bit of work with him early before you seen him on track at the races, and always had a good quality opinion of him. It didn't surprise me at all to see him win on debut, and then to back it up with another win, and then obviously in an unlucky run there too. So he's probably stiff not to be unbeaten. He did a good job winning off a slow gallop the other day from an awkward draw and back, and He now drops in weight, goes up in class, and it's not going to be a pushover for him. He's obviously taken on a couple of nice horses there. Hong Kong Golf's a nice horse who probably should be unbeaten too, but we've drawn a fraction awkward, I'd say. A little tricky, but he's a horse who I think's good enough to go through the grades, and with a bit of even luck, I'd expect him to go close there on the weekend for sure.
Nice. Best chance of a winner on the weekend, or would you say Geneva, Genu Pride might be up there as well?
I've got a couple even chances. Even like a horse like Soaring Bronco back to Class 5. He's been busting to win a race, but he just hasn't been able to get the job done. So I'd expect him to run well. Juno Pride's been very good for me. I think every time I've ridden him, he's either won or hasn't been beaten far at all, like a nose or a head. So he's been very consistent, drawn well, just goes up a little bit in the handicaps. So I'd expect him to go close. Geneva, he's a talented galloper, drawn wide. He's probably going to have to go back and need luck, but again, he could run well.
The Soaring Bronco, I heard you mention. You'd be a Melbourne Storm fan, though, wouldn't you?
Yeah, Melbourne Storm for sure, and Melbourne Demons in the AFL. So we're Melbourne covered there. And I have lived in Sydney from when I was 18 too, prior to Hong Kong. So I do follow the Sydney teams a little bit. So I don't mind getting to the SCG and watching the Swans or and I think where we're based at home too, where they're all bunnies. So the South Sydney's got a little bit of a spot too.
Nice. Have you got an NFL team?
Not really a team. I just follow the good teams in a way, I suppose. I was a big Brady fan and that. So, but yeah, I like to follow the good players. So, I always like the Super Bowl and quite enjoy that. But yeah, I follow the NFL, the NBA, the F1 starting this week too. So I'm excited for that too.
Oh, nice. You and Carice.
Yeah, Karras enjoys it too. He's already said we were thinking about trying to get down there for the Melbourne Grand Prix, but I said I can go to the Grand Prix pretty much any time in Melbourne, when I want. I said, so there's probably no point travelling 8 hours to go there for a day, but I'm sure we'll find somewhere to watch it on Sunday, and I'll be cheering Piastri for sure, the Aussie.
Nice.
There we
nice,
go.
Man. Hey, well, thank you so much for your time, Brenton. We really appreciate you coming on the show. Congratulations again on all the incredible success you've been having over the last couple of months, and let's hope it continues for the rest of the season. You might be able to leapfrog Huey on the jockey standings and maybe put a dent in that lead Zach has with any luck too, and certainly good luck next week with RUBYLOT in the Hong Kong Derby.
Thanks, boys. I highly doubt I'll be putting a dent into Zach, and I don't think I'll be catching Huey. They just get a few too many opportunities, I think, for that. But I think Zach will be back in a couple of weeks, and it'd be good to have him back. I'm sure I'll lose some of the rides I've been getting, but it's been enjoyable while I've had it, and hopefully I can build some momentum on it. And like I said, it'd be nice to have everyone back, and as long as everyone got through the fall okay, so that's the main thing.
It is indeed. Thanks, Brenton.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you, mate.
All right, time to dish out some winners at Sha Tin this weekend. Take note, it is a Friday night North American time card into the early hours of Saturday morning, not the regular Saturday night, early hours of Sunday morning. So 24 hours earlier this weekend. The feature race is race 7 on the card and is the Kowloon Tong Club Trophy. And number 1, Nimble Nimbus. Been a long time between drinks for him. This does look easier though. 2, Sunlight Power, 1 well 2 back, and then last out was just defeated by one of the main Hong Kong Derby chances, Johannes Brahms. Number 5, Karma, not without a chance. Same can be said for number 6, Voyage Samurai, who may just dictate this. Let's see if the speed map agrees. And yet Voyage Samurai looks to roll forward ahead of Woodfire Bro and Tobilin Prince. Alex, who do you like in the feature race at Sha Tin on Friday night?
Hopefully he's not too wide, but I like Voyage Samurai. He's tend to run better races when he's got less competition out on the front end, or where he can sit and stalk right there. And from barrier 8, he should be able to get a good forward position. So I like him a little bit better on the C+3 course than Sunlight Power, both of which you have run against Classic Series horses where we see RUBYLOT and we see Johannes Brahms in the form line. And then beyond that, I will take Golden Scenery to gunk up the numbers there in third. What do you say, Andrew?
We've got the same top 2, just different order. I'm with Sunlight Power. Similar sort of competition to what he faced 2 back when he won over the course and trip. Huey can get a nice ground-saving run from the inside draw, maybe 3 back the fence, and he's that form of his last outrun when he was third behind Johannes Brahms has certainly been franked, with Johannes Brahms then going and running third behind RUBYLOT in the Classic Cup, and RUBYLOT now one of the main favourites for the Derby. So, yeah, Sunlight Power for me on top of Voyage Bubble, and I thought Karma, someone that you've picked in the past, could run a cheeky race and get third for my trifecta. All right, best bet on the card. Do you have anything for us, Alex? Or
You
you?
know, actually, this time I do. I've done a bit more research
Yeah.
than normal, where I just picked the same race we do. But I do like Sun Jewelry that Brenton Avdulla is riding there in the 10th race for John Size. He's got
Mm.
2 wins in Hong Kong, and his fourth was at Happy Valley, where he had all sorts of trouble there, drawing 11 and then getting stuck on the inside when Huey was able to save some ground. So he's one that I'm going to look at, and he's got a decent weight there. Sky Trust coming out of the Classic Cup should take some money. So I'm going to take a look at him if he's not too short.
All right. Well, I like Sky Jewelry as well. And while I don't have an official best bet, I've actually got a best late pick three. And my best late pick three is, I think, Brenton Avdulla, our special guest who we just had on tonight's program. I think he's going to win the last 3 races, Alex. Race 8, Geneva. Race 9, Juné Pride. Race 10, the horse you just mentioned, Sky Jewelry. I think just a cold late pick 3 with those 3 runners. The gun is going to go bang, bang, bang and get the job done.
$100, pick 3 straight.
Yep.
Avdulla.
Yep.
Oh, I like it. I could be playing it from Vegas on my phone. Well, actually, I can't bet in Vegas on my phone. Never mind. I'll have to bet in the morning before I get in.
You will. Or you could go to one of the race books in Vegas.
Ooh, do they have Hong Kong racing at the race books in Vegas?
Of course they do.
Don't
Yeah.
don't tell me that. That's gonna ruin my wife's trip. We're gonna be in the sports book on Friday night betting Sha Tin.
I was betting Australian racing a couple of Friday nights ago in Vegas at the Paris race book. So there's one for you. And I think also,
Oh,
I think at the Palazzo or the Venetian, the Caesars sports book has a race book as well. So there's a couple of tips for you for when you're in Vegas on Friday night.
now you're an accomplice to my degeneracy. Wife's not gonna like to hear that.
Thanks again, Alex, for all your insights and information for another edition of the Hong Kong Racing Show. Really appreciate it. Have a great time in Vegas. And thank you, everybody, for watching. Keep following us. HK Racing US on X. That's the Hong Kong Racing North America X channel. And get all your PPs, replays, trials, expert analysis, more on the Hong Kong Jockey Club website. And we will see you next week on the Hong Kong Racing Show.